Hello and welcome to another video for the sixth form open evening. This is the video for business studies in our sixth form, where we offer the AQA A-level business as well as the Pearson Applied General Level 3 Extended Certificate and National Diploma in Business. As you can see on the screen, results have been fantastic for us over the years, something that we are extremely proud of. A quarter of A-level students have achieved A star to A, and the average grade over the years has been a B. Our applied general business pass rate has been 100%, with students going on to university with some fantastic grades and lots of UCAS points, and onto apprenticeships and things like that we'll talk about in a second. And the average grade has consistently been a distinction, and has most recently been a distinction star. We're quite proud of those results, and we feel that there are a variety of reasons as to why that is the case. One chief among them really is that we try and make it as interesting as possible as we can, and try and have a real interesting time and fun time. And you might think to yourself, well, funny how? Like a clown, do we amuse you or anything like that? But no, it's a case of getting you involved, enjoying the subject and getting to know you as students, and hopefully then the more you enjoy the work, the more you want to do well, and a really good positive environment is then created with the teachers that you can see on the screen there. So the head of departments, the head of business is Miss Nunes. You could then be taught by any combination really of Mr. Eldershaw, Mrs. Chadwick, Mr. Tweets, Miss Birch, Mrs. Spooner and Mr. Millington, because we are a business, IT and computer science faculty who do teach a lot of students from lower school up into our sixth form. And like I said before, we try and make it as fun and as interesting as possible to allow students to achieve, but also enjoy what they're doing as they go. So you're considering business studies. The fact that you're listening to this video and watching this video in the first place shows that you're interested. On results day, you will be obviously presented with your results, and then you have lots of options and things that you can choose from. And we offer our routes through into the sixth form, where you could complete the Pearson Applied General Business as part of one of your 3 applied generals, or you could do the national diploma, which would count 2 slots towards your chosen path. Or you could do a combination of the applied general business and then a couple of other A-levels, for example, IT. We offer that as an applied general, but we also offer computer science, and we find that IT, computer science and business goes together like peas and carrots. They go really, really well together. And a lot of students do study that as part of Route 2, where we have a combination of applied generals and A-levels, and we find the business A-level but also the applied general business fit together really nicely. And you can see students on results day, when they get the results, and they might have thought about a particular route that they wanted to go down, and they might be thinking of changing their mind, and you see them on results day, and sometimes you look at someone and wonder what's going on inside their head. What are they thinking in terms of what they want to do with their lives as they go forward? And business can help with lots and lots of routes, because we know that students don't always go on to university. Some are looking for apprenticeships, some are looking to go straight into work, and we find the business options facilitate those students to move on to a wide variety of different areas and different focus areas in terms of their next steps as they look towards their future careers. So in terms of the A-level course in particular, just to give you a little bit more information about what you could be studying in year 12 and year 13, the content of both the A-level and the applied general are very similar. It is just the assessment and the way that the students are assessed that is slightly different. So in year 12, we'll be looking at things like management, leadership and decision making. We'll be looking at marketing, which is obviously a huge area. We go from the 4Ps to the 7Ps, and we focus on those extended areas of marketing. And a lot of students do go on to university and onto job roles within marketing as a result of enjoying themselves, as I mentioned before, studying with us. We look at operations, we look at finance, and we look at HR, all the different functional areas. And then in year 13, we look more broadly at strategic direction and the methods that business leaders an organisation use to choose their strategy and devise their strategy, and then also manage any changes that may happen as a result of things like the internal politics or the external environment. So we do cover a large area with the AQA specification, and as I said before, we find students do enjoy the topics, and the teachers try and find ways to make them as engaging as possible as we go forward. In terms of the course delivery, students will have 2 teachers for each of their business options. There'll be lots and lots of group work, individual investigations, where you'll have to go away and look at case studies and pick out the important parts. Lots of peer assessment where we help each other and we look at each other's work, and we pair up with people who are slightly stronger than us, slightly weaker than us, and we help each other along the way. We learn from each other. There's obviously a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth. Nothing is ever black and white with regards business. So there is always a however it depends on, or will that always be the case? And those kind of questions that we need to push towards getting those evaluation marks at A level. There is, in terms of those evaluation marks and those analysis areas and those AO3 and AO4 marks, there is quite a big jump from GCSE, and we do require our students to be a little bit more independent with regards to their learning, kind of working with us to say which areas they're struggling on and which areas they would like support with. However, we do feel that the course, because it is an AQA course and we do the AQA GCSE course, the AQA A-level course does fit quite nicely and does follow on really well in terms of both topics, but also the way that it is going to be assessed. And leading us quite nicely to assessments. People always say it's not what you know, it's what you can prove you know in an exam. So it's all right going in with the knowledge, but can you get that information down? Can you write those essays? Can you provide data within your answers? There will be a mixture of multiple choice questions. There will be a lot of knowledge in there in terms of short answer questions, but the A-level business, the majority of the assessment will be those data response questions, the ability to write essays, the ability to pick from different sources and pick out the information that you need to then analyse that information and then also evaluate it. As it says there, you will be assessed on your knowledge and understanding, the application of your knowledge to a given situation. So students will be using real businesses, real problems in order to analyse those issues and be able to evaluate the best course of action and offer advice as to, as we talked about before, things like strategic change and offering those opportunities to extend and generate even more revenue and be more profitable as a business. In order to kind of complement that learning, we talked about being more independent earlier on. There will be regular homeworks and regular assessments, and we try and tailor these as much as we possibly can to ensure that students are focusing on their areas of weakness. All students will be aware of the STAR system that you can see on the screen there, where when we mark essays and when we mark extended pieces of work, we talk about the strengths of that answer, we talk about targets to improve, we talk about the actions that we wish students to go and focus on, and we try and tailor those actions as much as possible to try and ensure that those concepts that we're covering are as embedded as possible going into the exams, because we feel that an idea that is fully formed, fully understood, it sticks right there for somewhere ready for when you're in the exam. So students are then not spending time thinking, oh, what should I write here? They know what to say, they know what to do, and they get going and get onto the essays, because we do find that time is tight on the 3 exam papers that business students will need to focus on. That kind of highlights the main difference really in terms of the A-level and the applied general, because the A-level, as I mentioned, has 3 handwritten papers, 2 hours long, at the end of year 13, and that's where the assessment comes from. If you are a student that kind of enjoys the business topics, but you're not really sure whether that kind of assessment is for you, then again, we're quite proud of the fact that we do offer the applied general suite of business extended certificate and the double, which is the national diploma. So as you can see there, unit 1 is exploring business, all the areas of business that we kind of focused on the A level in one unit, kind of the basics of the business, what it does, the function of that business, how it's created, objectives of the business and how they're achieving that. That will be covered in year 13, along with unit 8 recruitment and selection. So those are 2 pieces of coursework. And then in year 12, we have externally assessed units, a unit 3 personal business and finance paper, which is a handwritten paper, and also a unit 2 developing a marketing campaign, which is where students are given a case study, they're given an issue to focus on, an idea that they need to develop a marketing campaign, and they will spend time in a computer room in exam conditions creating their assessment to show that they understand what goes into developing a marketing campaign. So we do the 2 externally assessed units in year 12. This then gives us a really good idea of what students are going to get by the end of year 13. So if you do go on to take the applied general, this is one of the biggest benefits, because by the end of year 12 you will have a really good idea of what you're going to get at the end, and it allows you to then focus upon, right, is university right for me? Where can I go to? What do I need to do? Do I need to be looking at apprenticeships? And I can show evidence that I've taken assessments already, and that pushes you up the pecking order. And then also, what about work? Are there employers locally that want certain things that you've been doing in your applied general extended certificate? And we find that the extended certificate in particular is really popular, but the double does offer an extra option to people to kind of cover extra areas of business, because there are 4 additional units to the ones that you've just seen on the previous screen. So if you were to do the double, you would do all the units of the single plus 4 more additional units. One of those is a controlled assessment, which is in the January of year 13, which is unit 6, principles of management. And then there are 3 more pieces of coursework. Now, we find that coursework is a more controllable element. So obviously there being 3 extra pieces of coursework and only 1 external unit, we find that's a benefit, and a lot of students see the benefit of doing the double in business studies, because it's the equivalent to 2 A-levels for UCAS, for apprenticeships, for jobs. And we have so many students doing it that we do think to ourselves sometimes, are we going to need a bigger boat, or are we going to need a bigger classroom in order to house all of these students? So obviously there are lots of students and lots of parents seeing the benefit in terms of the applied general diploma going forward. And like I said before, it is that assessment that people are attracted to, because it's not necessarily the pressure of 3 exams at the end of year 13. However, there are students who are looking at certain universities, looking at certain roles, kind of thrive on that kind of assessment of, this is where my exams are, this is what I need to cover, set me that kind of pressure and that kind of deadline, and that's how you're going to flourish. So there are quite a lot of sixth forms that only offer one or the other, and colleges sometimes only offer one or the other. So again, it is something that we're really proud of, the fact that we can offer our students both options and deliver them both to a high standard. So as I mentioned right at the start, really, it's not just the academic attainment that we're focused on, especially in the current world and the current climate that we're in now in terms of COVID and students missing out on lots of different experiences along the way. We try and develop the whole student. We try and put business into concepts that they can understand, put it into the context where they can see things happening. So we've had trips where we've gone to Disneyland before, in Paris, Disneyland Resort Paris. We've been to Parc Asterix in France as well. We take groups of students to the Women in Business expedition.